right, welcome back. I'm not sure when this is going to get published, but we're starting on quickies. I know you're thinking, well, you got plenty of other projects to finish up. Yep, in approximately 3 weeks, there is a event at Muncie for pylon racing. It's called the Pylon Racing School. I've been trying to put a plane together for quite a few years. Finances and finding, used stuff has really gotten in the way of things getting going on this. So, anyway, we got quite a few airframes here. I'll go through them with you real quick here. This is a Spigler Quickie. It's pretty dirty. It hasn't flown in probably about 3 or 4 years. It's just been sitting in a corner. Had some motor problems. Started putting a new engine on it. Lost interest, and it's just been sitting in the corner. So it needs to be gone through and get updated. This is going to be my slow flying plane because it's only got, I picked this, I don't even know if this engine runs. It turns over nice, so no reason why it shouldn't run. But that's a Makoa, what is that? Makoa 46. I scratch built this plane about 10 years ago. And I've always been interested in pylon racing, but this was the first one that I built and flew. Had a lot of fun with it. It's not super fast by any stretch of the imagination. Not competitive at all, but it'll make for a nice slow plane for me to get used to flying the pylon. So I'm going to just, this is more of a, tutorial of somebody getting started in pylon racing, and maybe some of you guys would be interested in doing it too, to bring more to the sport. I'm going to do it from a newbies, somebody just getting started, and this is kind of like I'm going to videotape my struggles and, things that I learn as we go along the way here, to racing and being competitive. So this one started it all. Like I said, I scratch built this. It's all balsa and ply build, strictly by the plans. And then a couple years after I got this one done, I stumbled upon a Viper. So this is about an 8-year-old airframe. I did have to scratch build a new fuselage because, frankly, I wore it out. Had a lot of fun with this one. I put an OS 40 SF on it, later put a jet muffler on it, had the quickie prop on it, and was just learning some stuff. Quite a bit increase in speed over the Spigler. This one with the 46 on it would do 130, 140 in straight level speeds. It does not have that 46 on it anymore. I purchased this KMB, I think this is a 6.5. Yep, can be 6.5. They would race these out in California that's set up this way with the tuned pipe. I flew it once, and I've had motor problems with it holding with the carburetor. This is super loose, so I got to get in there and look at that. I flew it last year. On the ground, this thing's getting about 18,000 RPM, so it should unload in the 19 to 20,000 RPM range. Should be a lot of speed. That was just the main goal with this plane, was just to get speed. So still stocking the stock tail feathers back there. Still running the bolt-in wing setup on this from the original plane, but everything else the on the fuselage has been scratch built. The wheels came from Daryl Caddy. These are ball bearing wheels. Pretty nice setup there. A lot better than what comes on the stock Viper, which is what we have right here. So this is a stock Great Plains Viper. Bought this winter from a fellow clubmate. It's got the jet motor on it from for 426 Racing. So it's got the Venturi on it, no carburetor, no throttle. It's got the black muffler. That's what you need for 426 Racing. 424, which would be more along the lines of this guy here, slower race. The only engine that they allow now, is the Thunder Tiger Pro 40, is the stock engine class, but unfortunately that is no longer made. So you're either stuck trying to find a used engine that is a Thunder Tiger Pro 40, or buying a $400 jet motor and detuning it down to a 424. So, you know, yeah, that I don't know if that class is dying. I know they're trying to do stuff for the 424 guys because it's a slower class. It's more of a beginner class. So, you know, to get guys started. There's also Club 40 racing, which is, you know, these clubs go around and make up their own rules and regulations as far as what everybody's going to be running. And then that's that. That's usually 2-pole. This is 3-pole stuff. I know a lot of information all at once. So, anyways, I picked this up for a really good price. It's only got 3 flights on it. So we got a 426 engine. Not knowing, I bought these 2 motors a couple of years ago at a swap meet. They're both Jet 40s, but these were, as you can tell, they got the red muffler on them, and they got a carburetor on them instead of a Venturi. One, I think it's this one, is rebuilt, barely test flown. This one, not a lot of flights on it from what I've been told about them. And then I got an R200, which is a full composite airframe. Bought this about 4 years ago. It's only missing a tank and an aileron servo in the wing, which is around here somewhere. But anyways, this is called what they call an R200. It's full composite. It's all fiberglass. This has raced. This is a 426 plane. You can race Woodies in 424, but from my understanding, the composites are just a little faster, a little better handling. So what are we going to do here? So we're going to, I'm going to get through the Spegler. I'm going to get it flying. So I got to finish installing the motor, which I'm not sure where that's at. I got to clean the airframe up. There's the wing to it. And then we're going to take this engine off of here and put one of these on. This engine's coming off of here and going onto that airframe. Yeah, might just leave this one alone and then this engine needs to go on the R200 airframe because we're not going to race this guy. And then I think one of these motors is going to go back on the Viper. And then that'll give us a spare motor laying around, a fun plane to fly there once I get the carburetor figured out on that K&B engine. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing the next couple of weeks, getting this stuff ready to fly. I did need to pick up some stuff. I got an HS225MG servo for the aileron servo on that. And then I went ahead and made an order from Daryl Caddy because I needed a fuel tank. So I'm going to be putting together a Tetra. This is a bubbless fuel tank. The reason they call it bubbless is because they're Tetra bubbless fuel tank. These are called bladder tanks. There is one in here. This is not a Tetra. This is a jet tank. I don't know if you can see that down in there or not. But anyways, it's not like a typical fuel tank where it's just a piece of plastic and you dump fuel in it. There's a bladder inside of this thing, and the pressure from the muffler goes up against the bladder, so you have no air in this, because when you're running the RPMs that these guys can run, don't quote me on this, but I think the jet motors are tuned to 19,000 RPM on the ground, and then they unload at 23,000 RPM in the air. So, you know, quite a lot of RPM there. And with those kind of G's, and there again, no throttle control, so, you know, once you release, you're wide open. So that's where the adrenaline comes from. And so with the G forces that a pylon plane can pull, you want a constant supply of fuel, and that's what these do. They provide that constant supply of fuel, and I can show you guys later, but you don't fill it with a typical fuel filler. You fill it with one of these guys, this giant syringe. This is from Jet. So basically, of course, drop it. So anyways, this fits over. This is big enough that it fits over a fuel line. You know, it fits over the top of it. Okay, you suck the air out. you grab a clamping device, you clamp it, you pull it off while keeping pressure on it, and then that keeps your fuel tank, no air in it or very little. And then you fill this up, fill the syringe up with fuel. This is 5¼ ounces. I think this thing holds 10, something along those lines. You push it in, syringe style. It takes a little bit of feeling so you don't blow the bladder, but you just put light pressure on it. It'll fill the bladder. And then you tip the plane on its, put the tail down, and then pull it out, pull the syringe back out until all the bubbles stop, and then you fill it back up, fill it full. So that way there's no air in there. And so with the muffler pressure pushing up against that, that's what gives you your fuel pressure. So anyhow, that's how all that works. I have not built a bubble or a bladder tank yet, so we'll probably be doing a video on that, on building that, getting some test runs on these engines. And then, like I said, pylon racing school's in 2 weeks. First race is 3 weeks after that out in Muncie. So, yeah, follow along if you guys are interested in this stuff. It's quite exhilarating. Went out a couple years ago and watched them fly pylon and met Tim Lamp and a whole bunch of other cool guys, national champions guys and stuff at the CAPS. That's the name of the organization. So, they put on this pylon racing school. It's free. Very looking forward to it. 3 days of flying. And hopefully by the end of the 3 days, I'll know whether or not I can compete in this stuff or not. So, or if I got to do a lot more training. That's where that comes in, because it's been, to be honest, it's been a couple of years since I've had a quickie in the air that flew really good, and so might be a little out of practice. I was practicing my turns up until a couple years ago. So anyhow, I'm going to get things ready here, and so we'll get that going. As far as the other projects going, I'm not giving up on them. This is important right now. So anyhow, I'll stop this video here and get set up and see what else we're going to film as far as getting these. You guys have watched me put planes together and stuff like that, so I'm not going to film a whole lot of this. The bubble tank I'm kind of interested in doing. And then and the other thing is, as far as mounts go, these are called I don't remember now, but anyways, they all take these kind of mounts, so they're all drilled, and this one's already ready to go. It's got a servo in it for your kill. As far as the Daryl Caddy order goes, we got a bunch of props to try out. And then this is the fuel line for this is the fuel line here is for that fuel cutoff setup. So what you got is a servo here. It pulls on it and it pinches it, so you can shut the fuel off, so you can kill the motor when you want to, instead of letting the fuel run out. So anyhow, that's what that setup's for. We'll only need to run one of those. I'll have to put a throttle servo on this guy, because we'll be running this one of these guys. So anyhow, yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll bring it back when I got more to show you. Alright, I thought I'd show you guys this real quick, just a little update. Got the motor off of the Viper and got it on the R200. They make this special fuel line tubing for, I'll show you here in a second, but the remote needle valve fits here. If you ever get a jet motor, I highly recommend getting one of them. So anyways, underneath here, you can see this cable here set up. And this is what this stuff is for, is going through there, so when you pull the servo, it's not hooked up right now, but it'll pull it and it'll collapse it. and shut the motor off. So that's your kill switch. And it's hooked up to a servo in here. Obviously I got to get a radio in here and all that good stuff to make it work, but that's what that's from. Like I said, all this stuff's from Daryl Caddy. If you're interested in pylon racing, I would highly recommend you check him out. You can get everything you need from him, and then you can even get the jet motors. Very knowledgeable guy. He will call you if you place an order to verify the order and make sure he's got everything in stock that you are ordering, and then it's the right stuff. So doesn't matter if it's on a Saturday or Sunday. I placed the order Sunday at like I think it was 7:30 or something like that, and about an hour later the phone was ringing and there's Daryl. We talked for about an hour. So anyways, quick update on that, and I think I'm going to get on to building the tank next. So yep, bring you back. Alright, so I opened the tank up, and if you guys have never seen one of these before, this is the inner lining. It's already installed for you. You can you probably can't see that too well, but you can suck it down. You can see the bladder in there. This is the bottom. So anyways, what you do, the instructions, they suck. They're converted over Japanese, I would probably say. Yeah, because they're made in Japan. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, I got on Daryl Caddy's web page with some questions like they're showing in the directions here, this air ejector thing, and we don't need that for racing. That's for pumped engines. Obviously we're not running a pumped engine, and so all we need is one line, and they say to put it about halfway back. So we're going to clean these up a little bit, clean this up a little bit here. Should just get a piece of sandpaper. I thought I had one over here. Evidently not. Better change that. Get rid of your birds. I mean, if you haven't watched my Dubro fuel tank video, I'd highly recommend you go do that, because that kind of builds on this sort of thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then none of these are popped through, so I'm just gonna pick one. Maybe might need to sharpen that edge up a little bit. I'm gonna take it over to the sander over here and sharpen the edge up a little bit. Okay, let that nice and smooth. Get you in the view here. This doesn't matter a whole lot. I would imagine this would be like a Dubro tank where you just push it through. Go. Kind of like that. Maybe a little closer. Our tank is pretty far back, sitting on the CG. So anyways, the tank's going to sit like this, so we probably want this up towards the top. Oh, don't forget your fuel line. I know you don't want to have a hard point on, there we go, on this tank, otherwise you can cause problems, and they sit about halfway. And there again, you do not need a weighted thing in there like you would a Dubro tank, because frankly you know, it should be, there's no air in there for it to float around in. As the fuel tank comes, level gets lower, if I can talk, then, it collapses on itself, bladder tank, right? So we're going to put that there, and then this is a clamp, and Daryl showed doing this too. Now, like I said, I've never built one of these before, but it looks pretty easy to me. Anyways, I'm not sure how tight to make that. And that's how he showed his. So it's just like that. And then the last step is a tongue depressor. Yep. And he didn't say anything about how to attach this, so I'm just going to spot glue it on here with some CA. And then and I'm going to make it as far forward as I can. The reasoning for this is so that way, if your tank moves forward, it doesn't collapse on the line. The lines don't kink and shut your fuel supply off. I think that'll be fine. I put a little bit of tape around it just for extra measures. And of course, it had to fold up on itself. And there we go. That's all there is to it. Something like that. I doubt that's going to go anywhere. Might have to trim that down a little bit. It seems pretty sealed up to me. Yep, seems to be working. So that's all there is to that. So now I'll connect some fuel lines to this, get it routed in the plane, and install it and Velcro it down. There's a Velcro strap in there, and I'm going to plan on reusing it. So, anyways, that's pretty easy, isn't it? And this tank was $30, new. So I might run them more in the future. You can run these on different airframes too. Of course, you would need the feeler, and that's got its own mess. It's not just about pumping the fuel in. So anyhow, I'll bring you back when I got more to show you. Anyways, we got the motor mounted on here. We got the fuel lines ran. We got the tank. I'm waiting to put the tank in because the battery goes up here. The tank actually sits on the CG. So we're there, and then I got the servo mounted. Had to clearance that out a little bit. Remember, on a quickie, you do not need a lot of throw. That's, very, very little. I think they measure in 1/4 inch or something like that. I'll have to look up the specs. Anyways, a good reason to check out your used planes here before you throw them in the air. I went ahead and took the tank apart just to see how they had this thing plumbed. I can get it apart here. I have to use 2 hands. Which, not bad. Look at that corrosion. You want that going through your $300 engine? No, I don't think so. And I'll see if I can get you an eyeball in here. Look at the rust in that thing. There you go. Look down there in that corner. Yeah, that's no bueno. Look at the filth. This thing hasn't had fuel. That's probably caster. So I'm going to need to get a new tank for this. I only ordered 1 bladder tank, so I'm reluctant to put a bladder tank in here because, well, you got to hog a lot of that out and to get one in there. So I don't know. They're quite big, and they won't fit through that opening, and they come to back here. It's the one problem. I'm happy to see that he fiberglassed the inside of that. That's one of the mods you got to make to these. Fiberglass the firewall area in here. That's already been done. He did not do the landing gear plate, which I will be doing here soon. So this one's, unfortunately, probably not going to be ready for. So we're down one, but we got three. So I don't want to, I got a bladder tank in that Viper over there. I don't want to dig it out because it's buried. And I mean, I'd have to take the servo out. I'd have to remove the servo mounts for the throttle. And, yeah, and it's with the way the servos are in these wings, there's not a lot of room to be running them. So, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to, I'll either build it. I don't really want to put a Dubro tank in this. You know, with the G's that this thing will probably make. I know it's a detuned motor. It's not 426, RPMs that we're talking. So, at least that's my thought on it. I could be wrong. But maybe I will just build a Dubro tank for it just to get it flying. Anyhow, we'll figure that out later. So once that's done charging, I'll throw the battery back up here where it was, and then slide this in. I went ahead and ran the fuel lines and got them routed. So vent here for the muffler, and then this is going to be for the carburetor or feed, and it gets strapped down with these straps here, Velcro straps, and we'll hook all that up, and we'll get a radio in it. It's already set up for 2.4 with the antennas in there. Notes, and then I can start setting up the radio, and which I haven't done with that servo. So yeah, anyways, quick little update on where we're at. We're looking good. I mean, I don't have a lot of time into this right now, so next up will be the Spigler Quickie, getting it cleaned up and seeing what we got to do to get it ready to fly. So anyways, I'm going to stop here for the day. Bonus day off. I got to go to work early in the morning, and not that matters, but hopefully Saturday will be finish up and maybe a test fire. I've never fired a jet motor before, so myself, I've heard them run, but yeah. Anyhow, we'll see you guys later. All right, I feel like I got to give a little short update before I call it a night here. Went ahead and got the battery shoved back up in the front. There's a Velcro in here to hold on to it. It was real hard to get a camera angle in there, so I didn't worry too much about that. Got the tank in. It's sitting where it's supposed to. I still need to get in here. Sorry, it's so damn dark. Huh. There we go. So I got to get my receiver in there. I got to still decide what radio I'm going to be running in these. Probably my Tactic 8 channel, just to keep. I think my 6 is about full. So we did that. So got the muffler back on it. BB. I don't know what those wheels are for. Huh. Interesting. Because those are the ones on there. Those are the Derek caddy wheels. I went ahead and cleaned up the Spigler, and I took the hatch off. Was surprised that I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig all this out and check that fuel tank over. The lines aren't very great, so I'll have to probably pull the motor back off and get in there and do a tank inspection, change the fuel lines out, give it the best hope for success, I guess. And I'm still undecided whether I'm going to change the radio out on this or not. That channel 29 there on Futaba is still a good radio, so I still use it. So, yep, that's where I'm at on all this. Gonna do a clean, and I think if I have time, I'll end up waxing that, and then get some spray wax on some of these other ones. I got some covering issues to deal with here. I got to get a little better, do a little better job on this. Remember, this was, like I said, 10 years ago I built this, so, yeah, so we'll do that, and then, all this guy needs here is I'm doing the battery right now, and I got to get a new prop on it, and I need to figure out how to, I mean, this is the problem right here, is how loose this is on here. This is the high-speed needle on this pericarb, and every time you open and close the throttle, this moves. So, have never ran across that before, so get you in a little closer here so you can see. I mean, it's just a loosey-goosey. It doesn't, no resistance there, so I got to do a little research on that and see what's going on there. So it is a fantastic running engine when it's tuned right. So yeah, rusted prop, so new prop, that won't be a problem. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna call it a night here. Probably be maybe get these things finished up Saturday if the weather cooperates, and maybe get an engine or two outside. And I'd like to run this one, really would. So I'll figure out a radio system for this yet. We got plenty of options, and maybe I can get it outside and do a test run on the motor. That'd be fun. So, yep. Anyways, we'll talk at you guys later.